my story.
Hi, Karen. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay, awesome. So I am Jermaine, and on behalf of EUR, I want to thank you for talking with me today.
Oh, my pleasure. Wow.
Congratulations on your recent projects.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. I want to start by talking about Self-Made and then go on to some of the other projects that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so Self-Made, just a little background for people out there, is one of the LeBron James and Mav Carter products. And they were, they were behind this really meaningful and intentional project. And I'm wondering what made you decide to be a part of the project.
Um, it's one of those things that is actually go through. You get that call in to go into audition. So the first thing is just being asked to audition, right? And then finding out it was about Madam C.J. Walker, finding out the heavy hitters that were involved, like Octavia and Blair Underwood, and Garrett Morris playing our daddy, and the story. I mean, I know I heard of Madam C.J. Walker growing up. I think the younger generation, maybe there's some who haven't, but I know for me, growing up I knew her in the 70s and 80s, but I didn't know the extent of her story. I know she had the products for Black women. I had no idea that she was actually the first American female self-made millionaire during that time. To be African American and being female,
Right.
during that time, to have that success, I didn't know that extent of her story. So I definitely want to be a part of this, and the idea of telling a Black story that hasn't been told, and that some of us knew of her but didn't really know anything that much about her. That was really important.
Okay, awesome. And one of the things that you mentioned was at that time. So, what was happening with Madam C.J. Walker was at that time, which, from my understanding, was like the early 1900s, if I'm correct.
I mean, our limited series takes place between like 1908 and 1918. So it's just a little portion, but a very important part too. And there's only so much you can do in a limited 4-series telling of this amazing woman. So we just gave a little what we could to also introduce a younger generation to her and who she was as an entrepreneur too.
Absolutely. Well, what's really interesting is that even though it was a short window of time, it was very relevant then, and it's still relevant now. Some of the issues that came up in that series, the 4-part series on Netflix, is that there was racism, there was sexism, there were a lot of moments of resiliency, and Madam C.J. Walker encountered all that like almost 100 years ago, but I think it's still relevant now. So can you talk about how meaningful and purposeful that story is still today in our society?
Well, I mean, it goes to show that, yeah, we've come a long way, but we still got a lot of ways to go, that the struggle, the fight's still on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we can feel sort of limited or sometimes held back as Black women to this day, as far as opportunities, pay, etc. But to understand that was a fight that was being fought. We're standing on the shoulders of certain women who came before us, and that means we still have to. They can do it in spite of what was inflicted upon them, and the struggles, and then knocking down and getting back up, and then what excuse do we have, right? What can we do? What young girl may be watching this series and saying, like, yeah, I can do that.
I ain't gonna let you keep beating up on yourself, yeah?
From now on, I'm doing my own hair, making my own hair grow.
Right. I want to go back to some of the names that you mentioned who were on the project, and you were really excited about those people, like Blair Underwood and Octavia Spencer and the legendary Garrett Morris. I've heard you speak about your experience and how much that meant to you to be able to work with these people. I'm just wondering what was like the funnest moment that you had with them on set or off set, or the most memorable or exciting?
Well, memorable and fun for me will always go back to Garrett. I tell you, man, Garrett Morris, if you're a younger actor and you get to work with him, this man, his knowledge and his stories, that's incredible. I mean, I had no problem just sitting down beside him and having him just like tell a story, not only of his own life, just of a generation before me, learning from our elders.
One of the exciting parts was working with Garrett Morris, and you said that he was telling stories and things of that nature. And I just wonder, is there any one story in particular that you remember that he told, or anything that just kind of will always stay with you?
He had an actor background. He's a trained actor.
Come on.
Missy, I don't take orders no more. Lincoln freed me 40 years back.
That's why I'm gonna pay you.
And that's why you're my favorite daughter-in-law.
He's a beautiful singer. He practices meditation regularly. So this man is very zen.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about your next project that's coming up?
Yeah, American Gods. There's season 3 that will start streaming, I believe, in the fall. I can't tell you much. I can tell you my character is Aye. She's an Orisha. So that's as much as I can tell you. I can't give you any storylines or plots. Some African goddesses, check it out.
Okay, that's exciting. That is exciting. Karen, you've made a lot of accomplishments over your career, going back to, obviously, you have a background in theater, and then you were in The Handmaid's Tale, and these two really epic projects that you've had this year. I'm curious about what your dream project is.
Dream projects, like, first of all, the energy has to be good. Like that, I mean, all around from top to bottom, like good vibes from actress to crew. In it, we're doing it to make a great story, but also to have fun and to good energy around the set is so important. I know on my wish list is something like Alfie Woodard. I would love to work with her, admire her, Regina King. Absolutely, that would be a good vibe set. On location, somewhere fun, somewhere where there's a beach. I love history, telling our history as well. I wouldn't mind a little bit. I've done a little bit of action. Wouldn't mind doing some more. It's kind of fun doing a little bit of that stunt stuff. So I'd say, why not? I'm just open. I'm open to what's next. I don't have has to be this or that. Though I did think I manifested Madam CJ, because I had in my mind I wanted to work on a Black project.
And your character, Peggy Prosser, was your character? And do you feel like you accomplished anything significant by working through her?
Peggy, yeah, she's CJ, her husband's sister, but if you follow the story, she's got Madam CJ Sarah's back. Like, you see, as far as, like, not to give away the storyline, but if you follow through to the end, she's still with her in the end. And yeah, you got family, but also there's like women having another woman's back. That's so important.
Sisters, let's talk about hair. They put us down, tell us we're ugly, make us feel ugly. Wonderful hair leads to wonderful opportunities. Mama,
You sure on to something.
Give me something that we can tell people who are trying to make it through coronavirus, self-isolation. What can you offer to people who are trying to make it through?
We all understand it's very challenging, and we're getting more information day by day, sometimes hour by hour. And I know it can be kind of frustrating and scary and alarming, and you feel you have no control over any of it. But the fact of the matter that us choosing to stay inside, doing that social, physical distancing, not getting to crowds, that's the one place that we know we have control over, that we're not gonna go out potentially contract it and then bring it back and maybe give it to your grandparents, your parents, another loved one. We have control over what we can do to help just sort of flatten that curve with this whole virus thing. And it is frustrating, but we know that we're being responsible and we are taking control and being responsible, staying inside, doing FaceTime, Skype, what we can do, then we'll get to the other side faster and get back to what's going to be a new normal after this. But just having patience, hanging tight, figuring out inside what is it you want to do. You can't go to work right now, but was there something you always thought you wanted to do that you never actually worked on a plan as an entrepreneur? You have control over that, what you can create from inside and helping to flatten the curve. Just be kind, have patience. Oh, please be kind. Be kind to grocery store clerks and the pharmacists, all the people delivering your food, because they don't have a chance to stay inside. They're essential services for us. So also we have the power to be kind to them and thank them. I try and thank them.